Friday, I got the James Gang. I got James from the James Gang. I got Shadwell from Shadwell and Son. And I got Justin Thor from, hanging out with me all the time.
Yeah, I got my own channel. I do things on it once every 6
But do you, bro?
Yeah.
I know you do. But do you?
Once every 6 or 7 months.
You guys can just call me James since I consider you all part of the gang.
Hell yeah.
Proud member.
We're gangbangers now.
The first thing
I'm telling you, we need shirts. I'll wear them. I'll wear them all the freaking time.
You're affiliated.
I watched Tropic Thunder yesterday.
I mean, Shadow probably knows what that means.
Yeah.
So if anybody asks, you guys can be like, "Look, we're affiliated."
Yeah.
I'm
a dude playing a dude dressed up like another dude.
I love that interview when they ask, "What's his name? Who would you have picked to play that role?"
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, it's Jamie Foxx, and they're like, "Who would you have picked to play that role?" And he said, "Robert Downey Jr." No, it's like, because I guess they were expecting him to say, I don't know, a black guy.
Hey, you know what, Justin? We need to we need to send you some pictures so you can make a James Gang T-shirt. Make it look like an album cover.
Maybe you can do it. It's easy. You can do it.
You're good at it, Justin.
Yeah, that's your thing, man. Go look at one of the old James Gang albums with Joe Walsh and the guys, and do the find one of the album covers where they're just standing around. Maybe even get some like older pictures. We'll like find an old picture of us, and try to Photoshop us all together.
Like if I were going to do a T-shirt like what Hungar's got, I would want my face superimposed over Death Dealer. So the black horse with the guy on it with the axe, like Molly Hatchet, but then me. You remember those old Molly Hatchet covers?
Those they were freaking awesome. Badass. I would actually take a Michael Whalen cover with Elric, because I got the hair, and just put my face over him holding the Stormbringer, because Elric was fucking badass, even for a skinny white guy.
You know what?
Everybody be jealous.
I'm going to disappoint you guys, but I listened to the first audiobook and I was just like, it's all right.
It doesn't get great until book 2. It's like Babylon 5.
So maybe I need
That's usually the case.
Yeah,
because it's all to read book 2.
It's better when you get it in the hardback and you've got them all together, and you just flow through the bullshit of him, and his cousin and his other cousin.
He leaves he's in love with the woman, but he leaves his cousin to be the emperor because he wants to go out and do some other shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes through that weird dungeon that's made out of flesh, and he gets the black blade.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember really thinking the City of Sorcerers was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
How depending on which group you were in, they had tattoos on their fingers or their eyelids or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like, that's kind of cool.
Cool. It really just goes hog wild with the craziness after that. After the first book, all the different adventures he goes on are just freaking amazing, tragic, just out of control stuff with demons and elementals, and Elric was a badass. If you ever look at him in the Deities and Demigods book, there's a reason he's a high level cleric, magic user, fighter, assassin. He's just got crap stats, physically, and Stormbringer gives him a way out of having to take the potions, just to be able to get up in the morning. Of course, he's got to kill people to do it, but
from the hill. I would have said hi earlier, but I was shoving my face with a Little Debbie Christmas tree cake.
I just restarted the Black Company.
What is that?
It's a novel series. You ever read The Black Company?
No, I haven't. I've just heard a lot of good things about them. But I've got a stack of books taller than my boy I need to get through, and I'm just this whole week I read like nothing. I'm doing these reviews, and I just can't find the freaking time.
The Black Company is about a mercenary unit in a fantasy world.
Nice.
And you follow it through the first few books through the eyes of the unit analyst or archivist.
Yeah.
So it's he's writing the deeds of the company while they're employed by someone called the Lady, who is like actually the villain of the series.
Be good, buddy. It's nice when people hop on just.
Well, that sounds interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Lady does that every once. Well, Lady does that pretty much every day.
What?
During his lunch break, he'll pop in just to say hi.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got up early this morning because my dog insisted. He wasn't having it. I was all like, leave me alone, you little bastard. And he was like, nope.
I woke up at 3 this morning and I was up till 6.
Because
3's about when I went to bed.
I'm still up from yesterday.
You're always up from yesterday, Justin.
Because my little dog had decided he wanted to go out.
Yeah, you know, little dude got to poop. You got to let him poop.
And that meant that any sleep I was getting was completely over.
If he was a good dog, he would know what his shoe is for.
Remember when Mom Sherman Shepherd pooped in all of her left shoes?
Yeah. German Shepherds are like that. They can be spiteful. But my little Pomeranian, he's a little sweetheart. Even though we did learn today that you cannot leave food within his reach.
Because he'll eat it.
Because he will eat it. Because wifey was eating some oatmeal, like one of those pre-made cups that are terrible for you.
Yeah.
But then she got a phone call she had to take, so she went out on the porch, the back porch, to take the phone call for her work, and that way, you know, she don't have to worry about me interrupting whatever or being loud.
Yeah.
And while she was out there taking care of business,
Narm.
Bear was on the inside taking care of business.
Well, the link's in the chat for anybody who wants to hop on. I've got room for 6 more.
Oh, really?
6 more?
I can have up to 10.
Jeez.
So you can do the whole T-shirted historian freaking cacophony of aging weirdos. Awesome.
I recommend you limit it to a much smaller number than 10.
I do what I want.
If you want to be able to hear anybody.
Yeah.
It's fucking Friday. I don't care. We put on. If I could, I'd upgrade it where I could have 20 people on and we'd just be doing a freaking, you know.
Well, what I started the whole thing out with was the conversation I was having on my paint channel, which is playing Call of Cthulhu, but setting it in Appalachia.
When was that? That was like an hour ago before any of us got here.
Yeah, I know. I was there. I was listening, getting the boys ready for school.
Oh, my paint thing. You were?
Yeah, I was there. That was the first time I tried to tell you about Holy Diver.
The song or the guy on YouTube?
Would you do
weird
it
though, because Holy Diver.
Would you do it, James?
I will text him. Holy Diver has my phone number, and I have his.
Awesome.
So, if he wants to get together to do like a hangout and paint and bullshit session, I'll give him a call and be like, whenever, you know. All you gotta do is tell me when you're available.
Did you guys watch Double D the other day?
Yeah,
No.
you know.
No, you know what? I've only caught like 2 of his shows. It's always on a bad time for me.
He admitted that Hungar is the best YouTuber. I mean, it was in a $2 super chat from me, but he still put it up on the
That still
screen.
counts. That still counts.
Still counts. Yeah,
It
absolutely.
still counts.
Them's the rules. You got.
He put it up and he said Hungar is the best YouTuber.
Matter of fact, I think it counts more.
Yeah, really. It's got $2 worth of weight behind it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when I tell people I'm the greatest gamer to ever live, and people are like, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like,
No.
I am the greatest gamer to ever live, and a lot of
I don't
people
know, man.
just don't even know how to handle that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree.
I call
I
shenanigans.
think we need to have a game off just to determine that.
Yeah, like how would you determine that though? Like,
they have to do it at a convention.
It'd be a sequence of tournaments.
But you know what? I'm gonna
Game to the death.
I'm gonna live by that. That
DM walks out.
I'm gonna live by
We'll start with
by Double D thinking that I am the best YouTuber.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
it's all a bunch of
that's
games that have
something
nothing to do with
because, you
gaming.
know, Double D's got his shit together. But unlike me, he actually spends a lot of his time like working on his show, and I'm all like,
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, this
I
is
just
definitely
roll
a
in and
slacker
start talking
brigade.
shit.
Same
So,
here, dude. These
like-
these are just home movies for at least from our perspective. You know, my son and I when we can get together this way, you know, long after I'm gone, he can show his kids and grandkids. This is what he used to do, you know, back in the day when you know.
he's gonna be more like, dude, this was the best YouTuber, and pop up Hungar's show. He's like, there's your grandpa. He's down at the bottom, but we're watching this for Hungar, making fun of Dad.
I don't know. I like watching Shadow and Jackie doing their painting and their unboxings.
Oh, their unboxings are great, especially when Jackie starts ripping into Shadwell.
Yep, he keeps me honest. He's a great kid.
I don't
guys.
know. That kind of makes me feel weird because I'm all like, show your dad some respect.
Well, you gotta understand, it's a
Trust me.
byproduct of Shadwell being such an authoritarian.
He
He's
is
such a control freak.
Yeah.
He's incredibly respectful. He tells me he loves me 10 times a day, and
Hey,
you know,
I'm not judging. I'm just saying I'm a weirdo.
no, I
Shadwell is a
get
control
that
freak.
from a lot of people.
Yeah.
I get that from a lot of people, but growing up, there were no kids in our neighborhood, and it was just me and him. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you know, I'm not his friend, I'm his dad, but I had to pretend or act like or show him what it's like to have friends, because literally, I mean, from 3 years old to damn near high school, there were no kids to play with, just none. Not for you know his whole life, you know. And there was nothing we could do about it. You know, we'd go to the park and stuff, and
I wish
you
Jackie
know,
was here. I'd make a lawnmower joke.
you go ahead. He'll hear it one of these days. You know, he'll go back and
It's
like
not the
Hungar
same
said.
without him here to.
It's not fun without Jackie here. The show is a lot more fun with Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's more fun with Jackie. Trust me, guys. The kid is absolutely
That Halloween costume was just spectacular.
Why couldn't he be a slacker and skip school like a decent teenager?
You know what? He gets up looking forward to it. He loves JROTC. You should see him. He literally does the march and the spin, you know, and you know, turn on his heels. He does the whole. He is so military gung ho. When no one's looking, he's doing it. When it's bedtime, he spends about a half hour in his room praying before he goes to bed every single night. It's like I'll come in to say goodnight. And it's like, oh shit, he's doing his thing. I'm out. I'll come back later. You know, he's yeah. And believe it or not, guys, that costume was right off the shelf, exactly the way it came. The only difference is the sword is real from his collection, and the helmet. We spent like 3 days taking the plastic helmet that we bought separately, spray painting it, you know, taping it, masking it, you know. and then repainting it and touching up the gold. And otherwise, it came right off the shelf, and he wears it exceedingly well for
It suits him.
he absolutely does.
He looks like he could be ready to roll into Jerusalem at any second.
He is ready to roll into Jerusalem. Hey,
Exactly.
what's with the fart squirrel?
What do you mean? What's with the fart squirrel?
That's his logo now, man.
Oh,
That's
really?
my logo. I got a couple of logos. I got that one, and I got. Let me see. I got that one, and I've got this one.
You know, they really should
If you
look up
look-
fart squirrels since they're actually related to ferrets.
Yeah, they could be fart weasels. But if
What's
you
up,
look
Mr.
right
Mac?
between the girl's legs, you can see the big red afro and the goofy mustache. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it
We're
would be
working on a
more
new
correct
logo.
to call them fart weasels.
Mr. Max, how are you doing?
Mr. Max, what's up? The link is in the channel, dude.
And you don't want to start talking shit about fart weasels
Yeah.
because that's when we got to fight.
One likes to hang around my living room window. Really pisses me off.
You leave him alone.
You leave him alone or he's going to fart into your window.
He does anyway.
You leave him alone just because he's awesome.
He's cute.
Yeah.
They make great pets.
However, ferrets, on the other hand, do not.
You ferrets make great pets.
My ferret made it an awesome pet. He was like the best, but then he got some kind of the problem with ferrets is they can be very emotional, and also they're very like they can get intestinal issues that'll straight up just kill them.
Oh, that's sad.
my ex has some ferrets, Fred and George.
I heard they like to tear shit up. Like
No, Fred and
like-
George, they like to hang out and like play. And every time they get out of the when they get let loose in the house to run around the house, they like to climb into the shower so you can turn the shower on so they can play in the water.
Oh, they love to play in the water. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have two ferrets.
That is an issue, yeah. Because if you have one ferret and you don't spend
Enough
a
time.
lot of time with that one,
It can die of loneliness.
they'll
Yeah,
literally get
depression,
so
suicide.
depressed they die.
Yeah, that's why we got our two ferrets, Fred and George Weasley, because they're weasels.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
weasels. I get it.
Yeah, and they're the coolest little dudes.
That's weird because my buddy, he only had one ferret, but his ferret would tear up his cushions and furniture and just
It was lonely.
It was lonely.
or
Yeah,
bored.
usually when
Yeah,
an animal
that's what-
starts doing that, like I had a umbrella cockatoo, and if we didn't spend enough time talking to him and cuddling him and stuff, he would deplume himself.
Yep.
Oh, that's horrible.
He would pull all of the feathers off the front of him.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He died of West Nile disease. We lost a horse to West Nile disease too.
Yeah, my horse. Dixie.
We were on the news for it because, when the vet said, "Yeah, West Nile," somehow or another, somebody called the local Fox News affiliate, and they showed up because I guess it was a big deal to have a horse drop dead from West Nile, and it was sad because it just laid down and would not get up.
Oh,
It was that big bay we had, like the
Yeah,
Hungar said
Dixie.
his horse. This is a big bay.
She was a great horse too. We had like 15 horses at the time.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had a lot of horses, so it was like whatever. Like we had one horse named Samson. He was a little Indian pony, so he was brown, but he had the white splotches on his backside. And he was a jumper. You could put him in a pen with a 5 or 6 foot fence, And the next thing you know, we'd be getting a phone call from a neighbor being like, Samson's down here on, the street. Or the cops show up and be like,
Go get
your
your
horse
horse
is out here doing stuff.
And then we had Buddy, which
nice.
Buddy was an asshole. Him and Shadow would try to get me in the morning.
Hey, Shadow, why are you doing that?
And Shadow just hated men.
No,
Shadow was an Appaloosa.
We all know Shadow doesn't hate man.
No, Shadow the horse was an Appaloosa. And we got her, used. She was a little older. And I guess whoever had owned her before us, a man,
was mean to
not
her.
been as nice to her as he should have been. So she just despised men.
Mr. Max
Was that
Bovine.
man Scottish?
Mr. Max, what's up, homie?
How you doing, guys?
What's up,
How you
Max? We're doing
I'm
great,
doing
man.
Yeah, man. I gotta say something about ferrets. Women that got ferrets, they're all like fucking a bit cray, like more than a normal woman. If you meet a girl with she has ferret for pets.
Ferrets are a different thing.
They're beyond the crazy cat lady.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, that's like cat lady times 10.
Yeah, she's the one that's gonna cut you while you sleep, because like she had a dream that,
She's
that
gonna
you cheated
cut
on
you
her.
while you're asleep.
All women with ferrets are named Lorraine Bobbitt.
Yikes. Yeah. Funny story. My mom actually tried to knife my old man in his sleep.
Did she have ferret?
No, she had hepatitis. She had hepatitis.
That's not as good as a pet.
Yeah, that's not as good as a pet.
But this is the story though. She had it, right, and my old man, he kept a switchblade in his bedside drawer, which was on his side of the bed.
Mm-hmm.
She, in the middle of the night, reached over. Mind you, they were both they both had polio, so it couldn't have been an easy task for her to reach over, open his drawer, grab the switchblade, click it open, and he freaking woke up just in time to freaking stop her. And that was one of the first. I think it was the first time she went into a mental hospital. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she just wanted a break.
She was.
That would be the right generation too, because the boomer generation, like so many of them have hepatitis and don't know it. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's
like
weird too because
every 4 boomers has hepatitis.
And it wasn't like she cheated on my old man or something like that. She went to a party and I don't know, just came back with
C. Can you get that from drinking from a contaminated beverage or something?
Hepatitis C is incredibly contagious, sexually transmitted, but also needles. And you can get it and carry it for 25 years and never know you got it.
Yeah, you can get it also with from razor, nail clipper.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Hopefully
today, if you go into a doctor's office and they're like, "Oh, you got the hepatitis," they'll give you some antivirals and shit. And you'll be real sick for about a month, and then you won't have it.
Even the C, I thought they could deal with the A and B, but not C yet.
C's 100% curable.
C, they can't do
D.
I think one of them they can't do, but like they can inoculate you for B
and A.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I got the shots for that.
Part of being a firefighter, we had to be.
You need to get the shot being a degenerate.
No.
For hepatitis, and it's like one of them is you drink water that's got the poo-poo in it.
Yeah.
And the other one, I'm not sure how you get. And C, you get that from hanging out with boomers.
Yeah, well, you said 1 in 3 boomers had hepatitis C. Well,
it's 1 in 4, something like that.
Well, like 1 in 4 boomers are guaranteed to be a boomer.
1 in 4 boomers are a boomer.
Yeah, it's like, and half of them have no idea they got it until they turn yellow and they're like, wow, why am I turning yellow? And then they go into doctor's office, and the doctor's like, "Well, you've got like 1% liver function."
Wow.
The most defining trait of a boomer is denialism. They just deny everything. So things.
I
thought
thought it was nihilism, not denialism.
Well, it's both of them.
Oh,
One feeds the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing,
Nerds,
nerds?
how's it going?
Yeah, how you doing, nerds?
I'm doing good. Finally got off my work calls. Saw the exciting live stream was up, so I had to hop in.
Of course.
I will say, Hungar, you should keep your eyes open for a video today. It's a
Oh,
secret
wow.
thing, but keep your eyes open.
Hey. No.
Put some content up.
Fuck all of you other guys. It's for me.
Yeah.
Well, when you're the paying customer,
Paying. What's this paying?
What's this pay stuff? You know, they were talking on Double D
I
the other
can't
day
believe
about how people have like a decent disposable income, and it seems like all of my income gets disposed of.
yeah.
Yeah.
By the tax man.
It's
Yeah.
like
No. I guess I'm the outlier.
I got bills. Bill my
I'm-
bookie, bill my
I'm stacking
probation
it.
officer,
Stacking
bill
it.
my attorney.
So, a nerd's nerd. What's the remix license on this model you're producing?
It is attribution, non-commercial, share alike.
Okay, good. You're getting a penis on your forehead, bro.
Just
Like
a
Oh.
unicorn.
The Hungar model. I get what it is. Yeah,
Like
I
a
get what
unicorn.
it is. Yeah.
I'm gonna be like Chota Boy from Orgasmo.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I
And
was thinking
me, Chota Boy.
I didn't slap my ass yet.
of.
And then
Man.
Chota Dog. Help us.
That
Shadow
movie
was talking
so
about like
long.
a mental hospital, like mother being a mental hospital. I've been to a mental hospital once. I had some business to do at the end there. I'm there with a buddy, right? But you're just there waiting to see somebody, and people don't know where you're there, right? And all the doors are locked and shit like that. And at some point, we're just waiting to see somebody, and we see a nurse, and she come to a door. She needs to get out, so she take out the keys. She open the door. Slowly, she open the door and she tries to like squeeze through. And as she does, I say to my buddy, we're near the door. I say, "Let's go now!" And I make a move. You see, like the nurse close the door and and panic. And she's so scared. I was laughing my ass off, and my buddy was like, "Man, you're so fucking dumb." Don't do those kind of jokes.
That's how you get to be a patient.
That's
Yeah,
cold
you get to be a
blooded, bro.
patient. Yeah. Just not there, if you know what I mean. Yeah, those
No, there. They mistake you for one, and it takes about 6 months for the
If you want to know about mental hospitals, ask Bo.
Oh yeah,
He works at one.
he works
He
at
works
one.
in one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've actually, I had to go visit my mom every weekend, and those places are absolutely just tragic. That is just, if you want to lose all hope, just visit a random patient and.
Well,
And-
nowadays they're shutting them down as well, you know. So like all those people that were in the loony beans are out on the street. So
No, Ronnie Reagan shut down a record number of them during his tenure, and
All
I bump
because-
into all those people on a regular basis anytime I go anywhere these days. It's just
but Shadow, you live in California. That's basically like an open air mental hospital, no?
Yeah.
Except without the care, I guess.
I bet you, Max, that woman had to change her underwear after that.
Yeah, but it was like maybe it was a nice thing to do, but like you see a joke there, you impulse of the moment, you just like go for it.
It might have not been a nice thing to do, but damn it, that is hilarious.
Well, the thing is,
Record
it's like
breaking.
I could tell you a thing or two about some mental hospitals myself.
hey, Squirrel, what's happening, buddy?
Yeah.
Whoa!
He
Yeah,
actually broke the other one.
I broke one mental hospital.
You broke one?
I broke it.
How do you broke it?
They didn't know about my particular set of skill levels or skills, and they put me in there, and
they found him walking down the street about 1.5 miles away.
Oh yeah, I went right out a second story window, threw something through it, jumped out, ran to the chain link fence, went right under it, and down the road I went.
Yeah.
He was
And
having
then
a rough
after
time
that-
and had an army flashback.
Yeah,
Sure.
after that, they were all like, this dude can't be here. And, my parents are like, why can't he be here? And they're like, we are just simply not equipped to handle someone like this. I guess they're used to handling like Twitter patients that were there because they self-diagnose,
Yeah.
I'm so depressed or whatever.
Now,
But I was in the middle of what they call a disassociative event, which is where like your consciousness leaves your body and it's just pure instinct.
Mm-hmm.
So they put me in this place, and
His military training kicked in.
I
Was that-
dreamed my
just came back from,
ex-wife was there because one of the nurses had the same haircut,
Mm.
and I got it into my mind that it was my ex-wife, and I had to escape. So
who hasn't been there, right? With an X?
yeah.
right.
Doodle asks, a mental hospital would be a good place for to start a Dreamland campaign. Now, is that like
You as well, Squirrel.
yeah, Dreamland, like Coast to Coast AM, or like a psychedelic trip?
It's more like a psychedelic trip.
Okay,
It's
so-
very Lord Dunsany style, almost verbatim, very surreal.
Now I could see playing like a Fox Mulder or that guy from Falling Skies.
Doodle
Like an
Squawk says
X-Files
Lovecraft.
starting.
Lord Dunsany was a huge influence on Lovecraft. Lovecraft loved his stuff.
Between Edgar Allan Poe and Dunsany, those were like his two main
Those
influences.
were his two main things. Yeah.
Man,
No, it's not a full house there, Brian. Hop on in.
Get your ass in here.
Actually, I might
you
have
guys
to
need
go for a minute.
you guys need to listen to each other, right?
I can have 10 people.
No, but Justin was telling a story, and then you just step all over him. I wanted to end the end of it. No, you
Well, his phone started ringing.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, they put me
I'll
in
be
a
back
high
in a few
security
minutes.
place
Okay.
with like the big fence with the razor wire and shit like that. And I escaped from there too. So then they made me wear a belt. And anytime I wasn't in my private area, a orderly there was loops on the belt, and an orderly had to hold the loop to take me everywhere. And my orderly was like this giant Jamaican dude, because they were it was so funny because my pops come in and I was there, and they're like, tell us about this guy. I mean, what's he been up to? And my pops is like, well, he's an infantryman in Iraq, and he started going through the whole list of everything. And the doctors are like, oh shit, we're used to dealing with random crazy people, but now we've got a random crazy person that's actually been trained, for hand-to-hand combat and evasion and shit like that.
But
Well,
don't they have
a prisoner's first duty is to escape.
Always.
always. When you're in a mental hospital, you're not a prisoner, you're a patient.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Depends if it's voluntary or not.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Brian, I sent you a link on your Discord, bro.
I thought I was a prisoner.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing with one flew over a cuckoo's nest, right?
Right.
At some point, he doesn't want to be a prisoner, so he tricked the people to go to the mental hospital. And then he think like his time is done. They say, no, you're not a prisoner. You're a patient. So we decide when your time is done, when you're ill, when you're cured, right?
Yeah, that
That's
was a sad movie.
Yeah, great
Yeah,
movie.
it was.
Yeah. How long have you been there, James, in the hospital?
How long was I in that hospital? About 2 months.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not too bad. I guess it probably feel like much longer though when you're there, right?
No, I was in a dissociative state, so I didn't recognize any passage of time or anything.
So did they just and you just like pop back in, or you're like?
Eventually, over time, I just came back.
And then you say, what the fuck am I doing here?
And I knew. I was like, oh, okay.
Huh.
It was part of it was actually fire related. Part of my PTSD is that under extreme stress, I can disassociate.
And then you went to become a fireman.
And it's well, I mean, it was the kids, you know. I was having a lot of recurring nightmares about calls where, you know, we'd showed up and there were dead children and stuff. And
for some reason, Brian, it's not working for you.
It messed
How you
me
go,
up
Ryder?
so bad.
Hey guys,
Hello.
how you guys doing?
Yeah, he went through a rough patch.
It's Friday.
It is Friday, which
matter
is
to you?
meaningless to me.
Yeah, exactly. All you guys don't work.
Friday don't mean shit to me.
I work for myself, so my boss is a slave driving OCD bitch from fucking hell.
Yeah.
There you
I'm
go.
the same. For me, Friday doesn't mean shit either.
No, Friday's actually not worse in regards to working because I do nature photography. Weekends are more accessible often for getting into places to do it. So
Friday for me is the day where I will wake up and then I will hang out and then I'll take a nap. And then
just like every other day for you, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much every other day.
Yeah.
No, here at the Shadow household, we actually have a really, really tight schedule every single day of the week. Monday is like my only day off, even though I'm retired. I've got a busy ass schedule every single day, to the point where, you know, I'm supposed to be reading like 50 pages a day as part of what I do, and I haven't read 50 pages all damn week.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, welcome.
Here's Brian.
Oh,
my hair?
Yep.
We're here.
I've done so much
But I don't know where here he is.
last week. So.
I upgraded. I can have up to 10 guests now.
I see that, man.
Oh my God, you're going up in the world, aren't you?
What is that? The $16 a month deal?
Yeah.
Okay, because I just got to restream myself because I was having a hell of a time last night on my show. My camera
I'm
wasn't
starting to
working.
think I like your Restream Studio better than
StreamYard.
Yeah, I
StreamYard.
kind of have to admit the same thing, but I'm tied in through another channel where I'm the co-host and I have, you know, backstage access and I can do all the same things. So
I'm a moderator on like 5 different shows.
Right.
5 different channels for some reason.
Yeah,
People just make me moderator.
you in part.
Studios, and I keep telling them they're making a mistake every time they give me admin powers, but they still keep hiring me for co-hosting. So I don't know what the hell it is. Apparently, they like somebody spazzing and saying inappropriate shit. I mean,
and Nerd is just popping up everywhere nowadays.
Yeah, she is.
As she should. As she should.
Good.
Yeah. I'm not complaining. I get her on my show every day.
I just painted a monster that would go into any D&D game and would just be super exciting for players to go against.
Oh, there's a cat on Max's shoulder.
Yeah,
I'll show it. It's called a BMP3.
That's a monster, all right.
Just have
It's a
the
piece
players.
of shit is what it is. It's like all the BMPs.
What?
All the
Yeah.
BMPs fucking suck. All the BMPs, the BMDs, the BTRs, the
there you go.
MTL, whatever.
Elemental
suck.
peas.
Oh shit.
PRSTs.
Well, apparently they're, and even though it
PFC.
breaks my heart to say it, because I'm a mech infantry guy, they're better than Bradley's.
Man, I wouldn't
Wasn't
say
the Bradley's
Bradley's
like the
I wouldn't say that Bradley's like the ultimate in IFV either, but
They're
it's definitely
phasing
better
out
than
the
a
Bradleys.
BMP.
But wasn't the Bradley like the tank that was like famously like designed by committee and became like a
Yeah.
huge piece of useless junk because everybody wanted to
Yeah.
have their pet project?
A side note to that is I have a brother who was the operator of a Bradley for a while, and there's a few things to that. A, we love to tell him he had mini tanks because it pissed him off. B, he actually was the one hauling down the statue at the beginning of the war. So, but it's also that, yeah, he actually got one airborne in training. Blew the engine out, ramping it off a hill.
Didn't you guys accidentally run over a camel once, bro?
I did run over camel.
He got a record for that.
Accidentally.
Because he got in trouble on base because he actually blew a freaking Bradley up, ramping it off a hill and blowing the engine as it landed.
And they were going over a sand dune, and that camel was on the other end of the sand dune.
It was like,
This is what they get for having a redneck boy who loves to back road race drive a vehicle like that, though. Just saying.
well, I mean, the Bradley had a good engine. It had that big old Detroit.
Yeah, it got speed. A lot of the other tanks
500,
don't. That's why he
yeah,
loved
it
doing
was
that.
good.
I mean,
From what
But
I heard,
the
they're
reason
phasing out the
BMP
Bradley
is
and
better
putting out
is the profile. A BMP1 or a BMP2 is like 5 feet tall. So you can hide it anywhere. They're 100% amphibious. And they typically carry better weapons, really.
but
For
they're
what
phasing,
they do.
With the Sagger and the Spidget, I mean, those ATGMs cannot hold anything to a fucking TOW 2.
Well, a TOW 2 is badass.
Fucking A. If that'll destroy anything on the battlefield. Anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Nerd,
that's
Nerd kept on trying to chime in. What were you trying to say, Nerds?
I think I said my piece. Just that the BMPs are great on paper, but their combat record in the last year or so has proven otherwise.
yeah, if you actually do like some research on like the actual, their function, they got a lot of problems. Just like, I mean, it's just Soviet design, mass produced, it's simplicity's sake, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good design and
Hey, T-34 was a great tank.
what was?
T-34.
The T-34 was junk.
I like
Second
the
best take of the
T-34.
war.
Yeah, I mean T-34 was badass. Had the slope armor, good armor protection. I mean, you could produce it. Almost anybody can build the damn thing.
Yeah,
The
it
Sherman
They
depends
just
on
put a
who's
radio in
using
it. It would have been amazing early war. But they're
Yeah.
out there communicating with flags. Like, come on.
Until like 45
That's
or
true.
44
The
until they got
communications
radios in those
was
damn
an
things.
issue.
Yeah.
But the T-34 was designed to last about 2 battles.
That's all
Yeah,
they needed to.
That's all it needed.
they were
Yeah,
there.
they
They were cranking
were
those.
not designed to be like a long, like they were not designed to have any sort of what's it
Longevity.
called? Longevity.
Yeah,
at
they
all.
didn't need longevity.
Yeah,
They were designed so that every tractor factory in the
Yeah.
country could start just churning them out.
They were cranking those bad boys out in an active war zone, in an active combat
In
zone.
the Red October factory,
yeah.
the
They just drove
Germans
them off the
actually
fucking
held
plant
half of
floor
the
and
factory,
tried to
and the
combat
other half was cranking out T-34s.
They were,
that's
they were
what-
the they were the Doritos of tanks. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they weren't that good though. Like a T-34 compared to
No.
a Sherman tank, which we do
Oh,
have.
shit.
Shermans were
T-34
amazing.
would blow
They're the
the
most
hell out of
underrated tank.
Yeah,
No,
T-30
Shermans were the best tank of the war by far.
Shermans were
Whoa,
by
whoa,
far the best
whoa,
tank in
whoa.
World War II.
I don't know about that shit. I don't know about the M4
They were not the
being
most
best.
powerful. They were the best. They had
Now,
a
are you
gun that
talking
did the
about,
job.
like-
They had armor that did the job. They had speed that did the job. You could bulk produce them. They had a logistics train that was outclassed
No,
any other vehicle.
so you're including the industrial might of the United States.
I'm
behind
including
that
everything.
tank.
The
Okay,
design
I'm
was
talking about-
superior because of how easy it was to build logistics for.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking
thing you
combat
have to look
effectiveness, I
at-
wouldn't think the
Brian
Sherman.
just got schooled by a girl.
What the fuck? I'm not debating here.
Yeah, it doesn't
I
count.
was sitting here
I mean,
enjoying all
trust
of
me.
this.
A lot of women outdo
It's
me.
not
It's
the most
nothing
powerful.
new. So don't worry about that.
It was
So,
the
but-
best overall design. It was not the most powerful take by far.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to agree with her.
Here's what you got to look at to know that the Sherman was the best tank. Look at
No,
the
it's the
number of
M4.
Shermans that
It's
got
the M4. It's not the
destroyed.
Sherman. That's a British thing. Americans call it the M4.
Okay,
So-
the M4 then. Look at the number of them that got
Oh,
destroyed
sure.
versus the casualties.
I would say, in my
M4 was
personal
so
opinion, combat
Yeah, crew
effectiveness-
survival rate,
out of-
fantastic.
that like tank crews just lived. They just lived, you know. A German round would go through it and catch it on fire, and the tank crews would just get out.
The M4
They get
casualty
out,
rate.
they'd learn, they'd get in the
high.
next take, and they'd be a more experienced, better crew for it.
The
It
most
was
You're
of
high.
saying
them
the
would
run
get
It would
out.
speeds and the
burn.
high death rate is a myth. It's
Oh,
not true. The numbers do
whatever.
not back that up.
Called
It is a
Ronsons
myth.
because they would burn until they got those wet
They
fuel
didn't
jackets.
call them Ronsons because
Ammo jackets.
Ronsons didn't exist in World War II. That was named
They-
after the fact.
Damn,
Well, okay, Tommy
Brian,
Cooper.
for somebody
excuse me,
with
Tommy,
World War
Tommy
II and
Cooper. Tommy
Brian,
Cooper.
Brian, with somebody with World War II in your name, you'd think you'd know more about
What the
this.
fuck?
Yeah.
They were burning until they put those water jackets around the ammo
Oh.
fucking compartments. But yeah, I mean, and then
Because
you know they're
do
they're
that.
trying to add all the extra armor. Dude, the M4s were mass.
I'm just stirring the shit.
Yeah,
Stirring it up.
I mean, I can agree to disagree with. I don't think that's the best combat effective tank in World War II. Maybe
Not the most combat powerful, not the most
that's what I'm
effective.
talking.
The overall best design for the war.
I would say
If
the
you're
T-34
doing a one-on-one
would be the
duel,
best.
You're not taking a Sherman.
Because during the Korean War, M4s battled T-34-85s
Sure.
and smoked their ass.
Yeah, not a battle.
Yeah,
they
but-
massacred them.
I mean, you're talking Easy 8 M4s. You're talking Pershings. You're talking even the damn what is it? The what are the
think
fast ones? Nerd.
They had a few Pershings there too. But the
Oh, they
point
did. They had
is,
quite a few.
anytime an M4 engaged a T-34, and this is upgraded 85,
No.
T-34 85, the M4 just eat it alive.
I think Nerds has a point. I don't know much about tanks, but I know that if you just like consider like the battle in itself, once the tank's on the battlefield, you're missing a big part of what a war is about. Like you
Yeah.
need to get this fucking tank on the battlefield, so you need to consider like how much it costs to produce, how effectively you can produce it, or you can move it around, you know, stuff like that. There's much more to war than the battle. You know, if you just look at the battle, you're gonna fucking lose the war.
I would
Yeah,
say.
you gotta-
I would say the
And look at the-
T-34.
Designed
That's
the
what I would say.
M4.
I would say the
You gotta
T-34.
T-34,
under-
I think, is second best. I give it second place.
Well, you do have to look at how the Sherman or the M4, whatever the fuck you want.
Well, the T-34
survivability
should be
rate.
a higher rated tank only because of the thing Stalin said, which was quantity has a quality all of its
Yeah.
own.
Numbers
Mhm.
annihilate. Yeah, that was
Numbers
so-
annihilate.
The T-34
because
was the best
one-on-one,
tank
a
for Russia.
T-34, even a T-34-85 versus a late Mark Panzer IV would get smoked 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, but do you
In a
think that,
one-on-one.
you
But
think
it
that's
would
not
never
true
be
in
a
a war?
one-on-one.
Exactly. Do you think it's untrue in a war that quantity is like no? It's an obvious fact. Quantity has a quality of its own. That's
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And for
Because
every
that
T-34 they built,
7.5
they could build 3 more
centimeter
T-34s.
high-velocity gun.
A big part of the reason why the Reich lost the war is because they were too busy building Swiss pocket watches instead of,
Yeah.
you know,
The
Yeah,
Stug is the best German
Timexes.
take of the war. The
Yeah, it's like
resources
the,
into it, the logistics train was amazing. Its combat effectiveness was highly effective, if not amazing.
In
But
my
they wanted to
opinion-
build the King Tiger, the Panther. The Stug is what they should have invested in.
They should have been building a lot of Stugs. Exactly.
They did build quite a few of the Stugs, and the Stug for the German side had the highest kill count of any German vehicle.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have bothered with
The
the
Stug
Tiger 2. They
Because
should have.
what they did is they took a Panzer III chassis, which was already pretty well armored but low, and they put a
They just
high velocity
knocked the turret off,
75 millimeter gun on that thing, which could penetrate anything the Allies had.
Yeah, it's kind of
Well,
like
that's not necessarily true.
the Thompson compared to the Schmeiser. The Thompson had like 54 parts. The Schmeiser had well over 200. You know,
Yeah.
the average
The MP40s were stamped metal, so those are really easy to produce.
Yeah, even the late war MP40s.
No,
are just
but the
frickin'-
servicemen, you know, the guys wielding them, you know, if they had an issue, it was a bigger issue. You know, if something happened.
See, I don't know about that bit.
Yeah, I mean,
But the best,
Tanks,
the best.
I know a little
small
bit
arm-
about tanks just because I'm a junior, what's it called, historian. I like to
junior
read
historians.
I've worked with both firearms.
I got the Dakota ring
like to
too, bro.
read books about it, and I was a mechanized.
I got a degree in
infantryman,
it.
so armored vehicles interest me.
Whoa, degrees don't count as much as Dakota rings. One comes
True.
from a cereal box.
I have a Captain American
The other
Dakota
one
ring
comes
here
from
somewhere.
And you know,
a
hey,
When
Mustang.
I say
Frank,
junior
speaking of-
historian,
that's
it's
funny.
not bragging. I'm just saying I read history books.
Yes.
Yeah, but history books, most of them are fake. So
I think me and Nerd, we might be reading those technical manuals too.
Hey, Brian, speaking of Dakota
You
rings,
get a better,
I'm
better
trying
view
to
of
find
history from
a
Marvel
Captain
comic.
Midnight decoder.
Like an original?
Yeah.
Dude, that's
I-
like
I-
money.
It's like 50 bucks.
Money.
Like
And how
40,
much,
50 bucks.
how much do you think the tanks had impact on the war, on the overall
What
war?
tank?
Like the
Oh.
design of the different side and stuff like that. You know, like this
Shit.
wasn't like
You know,
a tank
what
war.
won the war was Americans' industrial might
Yeah.
and the amount of fucking Soviets there were.
Well, America also
Three
was
things.
isolated. America was isolated
Right.
too from the war. You know, like they weren't the factory bombs, so yeah, they were free to produce as much as they will. You know, so
If
that-
the
what's
Lend-Lease
the
wasn't in
famous quote?
existence,
Mhm.
if the Lend-Lease wasn't in existence, the Soviet Union, I, in my personal opinion, I don't think the Soviet Union would have ever lost, no matter what situation. I think that if the Lend-Lease if the Lend-Lease didn't happen, I think that the Germans would push further east into the Soviet Union. But I think the Soviets would eventually have pound back and crush the Germans. In any situations, the Germans would have never won. Ever.
I think one little fat boy put a big change in the war.
If the British Foreign Office hadn't lied to Hitler,
yeah.
One
Yeah, I have to disagree with you.
one little chunky boy changed the whole war for a lot of
and I
people.
have to say this,
I'm
I'm
just
being
enjoying watching
arrogant.
you all argue.
I might be arrogant here, but so this is my personal opinion. The Soviets won Europe, and the Americans won the Pacific. Okay, that's just cutting up. I'm not
That's
saying the other
true
belligerents
enough,
had nothing to
But
do with
you
it.
had there's an asterisk.
It doesn't feel like we won.
Do you know how much resources we sent the Soviets?
You're right.
Yeah, like
$719
every ship the
billion
Soviets
dollars.
ate,
yeah.
and every boot the Soviet army was wearing was made in America.
Dude,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why I'm saying the Lend-Lease was massive.
If we
Now,
had not
It was.
Lend-Leased them all that spam and shit like that,
They would have fallen.
I don't know if I don't
There's
know
three
if they'd
things that
lose
won
the
Europe.
war. I don't know, because I don't think Germany
They
would
would have
ever
lost.
be able to maintain the Reich as the way it wanted to.
They never would have been able to build the resources for Zhukov's counteroffensive without the Lend-Lease. It never would have happened.
Well, you know, when that was starting to fold, they started moving everything east into the Siberian area, and I seriously
half the
think
country would have been seized.
They held the line because of Lend-Lease. $720 billion worth of military aid.
That's
That was in
I'm
1940.
starting to really like her.
You have to consider
And another thing,
that was
the
a
big
goal.
thing is like if they didn't secure
That doesn't
Persia,
mean anything, Hungar, man. It's not
if they didn't
relevant to
secure
the
Persia
conversation.
to get that
It's relevant to my
backdoor
conversation.
Lend-Lease action, yeah, the Soviets would have been screwed there for sure.
That's what won the war right there.
Well, that was the
And
It was already won by that. That
That
was just to keep the Soviets in check afterwards.
Exactly.
Treat them like little bitches. Keep them.
Listen, that was meant to keep Operation Varsity from having to actually go through it, because we were going to be America's going to win no matter what against the Japs, but the casualty rate is going to be massive. So why not drop a couple bombs?
I think we should listen to Pat and then rode right into Russia after Germany.
That's something that Americans don't fucking understand. You know, like other people care about like civilian death, right? Americans don't give a shit. We can see that how they behave in the Iraq.
Listen, and
they
that's
fucking go
fair.
there, kill
Listen.
a million civilian.
Hey,
the Allied camp, the
That
Allied
includes
bombing
you.
of Europe was
Because you're about
there
to
was a
say you
point where
do.
they were talking
Yep.
about like this is massive casualties. They were talking about stopping it in the early 43.
Like
Max,
lip
we also-
service.
we also-
fucking Dresden
Lip
as well.
service.
Max,
Yeah.
we also live by the nits make lice. We understand that, and we have no compassion when it comes to that adage.
Well,
And we should.
But you're the lice.
I know the most devastating bombing in World War II was Dresden.
Yeah.
Which had zero military importance.
As an open city. Yeah.
And we erased it.
Yeah.
Just to kill civilians.
Like it's almost like
Instead,
the Allies
was that more than the
Listen,
firebombing
guys,
of Tokyo?
it's
Listen,
almost like
first
the
of all,
Allies were the good guy in that war.
Just
guys, first of all, we do not listen. We didn't do any of those actions. We shouldn't take credit for the benefits or the detractors of anybody else's action. Okay, well, I'm just saying historically. Okay,
but your government still
you know,
does
it was a fight to survive. It was anything.
Not
All
for,
sides.
not for the
That
fucking
wasn't just the
Allies.
fucking
Not
U.S.
for the
That
fucking
wasn't just that was Germany.
What?
That was the
Shut
Soviets.
your mouth, Brian. Not for the fucking Allies. It wasn't a war to survive. Hitler didn't fucking
Not
have
at the
world
end there.
domination goals. He wanted to
Oh,
have
yes,
better
he did.
spot
He
in the
wanted to
world.
rule the
No,
world.
he didn't.
No, he didn't. He wanted to have like a better spot.
There's
for Germany.
no evidence of it.
He wanted
Your
Germany to have
government did.
colonies like every other.
Justin, let's
Like,
not
he
talk
wanted
about
only
how
people who were
one government's
survivors
better
or
than
fighting for
another one.
survival against the
And
Germans.
by
He
the
wanted a
way,
fucking banker.
really want to do the your
Because
government
German
stuff to the
fucking
native
changed the
girl?
weighted money, and they couldn't fucking stand that because now he would change over. Like he took the country that was fucking ruined from the Weimar Republic deal that they had. He turned that over by fucking kicking the banker out, and the world
Listen,
could not
that
see
doesn't
that. Because otherwise-
justify invading other nations. That's not
invaded-
justification.
He invaded
None.
What
he
other
invaded
nation?
Poland.
Poland?
He invaded Poland.
Poland,
Russia,
Denmark,
Russia
France,
invaded Poland
Netherlands?
first.
Yeah.
Norway.
And
No,
Germany
that
only
was
went in
once the
because
war was
Britain
started.
said they would have their back. Like,
Guys,
how many times do I have to tell you that? It's public record.
So anyway, Call of Cthulhu set in Appalachia. What do you think?
I think that would be a neat game.
Yes.
What era? What time
you
frame?
could go away from like your normal Call of Cthulhu monsters. You could have like the big hairy man. You could have like dogmen. You could have all the different Appalachian witches. You know, you could have like the little goblins that live deep in the caves.
But what time frame? Because like I was saying earlier, everybody people never play Call of Cthulhu in a modern era. It seems like they always
No,
play
they have a whole like modern Call of Cthulhu.
No, you
game.
can play. You can play.
In the core book, it gives you.
You can play modern, but most people play
modern
20s.
characters.
Hey James, what era would you pick? I'd go with like 70s and 80s.
I would probably pick the
Disco. Disco is an actual like Cthulhu means to try to destroy the world.
Disco Cthulhu.
And don't
I like
forget
Disco
Cthulhu because
every disco ball was a color
like
of
that.
space.
If you're not really whatever, just the fact that characters have cell phones can totally take a game and be like,
that's why I said 70s and 80s. You know,
because they're like, hey, we need to know something. You know, okay, we know it.
Yeah, but
I like
could Cthulhu be putting false information out there, right? Like they go to look something up and it's like the thing to make it stronger instead of weaker.
I like Call of Duty games set in late medieval time, Renaissance. I think it's a fun time to set them as well. You can also do like the future sci-fi.
I like what Justin said. If you know Cthulhu's got a bunch of cultists and shit, they've got Google too. They're out there.
You guys
on
always think
Wikipedia.
about Rome, right? Everybody
Yeah,
thinks
they're
about
out there
Rome,
on,
right?
the cultists are out there on Wikipedia, just like changing shit.
Yeah, Wikipedia would be useless. Although personally, I got to say, the Wild West would also be a really challenging era. The players have some firepower, but overwhelming numbers and
Well, the Wild West would just be like 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the regular time for Call of Duty.
Right. I mean, it wouldn't really change. That would
but
just
what Brian
be...
said there, Rome would be amazing setting as well.
Well, you know, Modiphius just came out with that Cthulhu in Rome.
We're playing Call of Cthulhu, but it's in Arizona.
They made it gay though. The modification that one.
Yeah, Arizona, 1896 era, maybe 1901.
1800s, I'll agree with. When somebody said it's like 1920, I'm sitting here laughing my ass off. I'm sorry.
That's when it's normally played, though.
Yeah.
Well, it's always in that time frame.
That's like the very end where we're mostly in the industrial age and there's not much of the Old West left. It's not really the Old West.
The only reason it was written in that time frame is because Lovecraft was around at that time and he was writing to what he knows.
Yeah, he passed away in the 40s, didn't he?
30s, early 30s.
I like what Guardian of the Rim says in a high technological time. Misinformation and holograms.
Hey, Raven, welcome to the show.
Hey, Marcus. Hey.
You talk about Old West.
Raven.
You talk about the early American stuff. You talk about the wars between natives and settlers and stuff. That's my era stuff that I grew up dealing with. I grew up in Black Hills and all that. That's the stuff I've studied my whole life.
The
that's not 1920. That's like mid 1800s.
Well, you can also go Old West and like colonial. You can just kind of blur that line between the Old West into like colonial expansion in Africa and in the Asias and whatever.
Because all those people here and there all came from fucking Europe to try to take over everything. We're kind of used to that shit.
And you get to add all the Native American tropes.
And we're damn good at it too.
And then you can add, like I said, if you did colonial instead of like Native American, you could have all the different cultures. The African cultures, the Asian cultures, the Middle Eastern cultures, and whatnot. So you can really go Old West.
Look at it as a colonial power globally. What Europe was doing for a few hundred years there, and it's not all of history. It's not blame Europe for everything. I hate that stuff. But for a few hundred years, it was trying to a colonial power across the globe. Do that, you can incorporate pretty much every culture from the American Indians here to Africa and more, because it was involved in the globe at that time.
Right. Well, can you imagine?
Well, up until the 1960s, we were 2/3 of the human population.
And they're just like summoning you would have to look up African monsters. But I know there's one-eyed African cryptid, and its MO is to rape a man in the house and then tell the man to tell other people what happened. And if he don't, he'll come back. It's like a winged thing.
Why? Just why?
Just to remind
why?
Me,
because it's a monster.
I'm albino, not white, so.
Is that the one I told you to watch with the truck stop?
With all the weird cryptids in Africa, there's some weird ass cryptids.
There's a great one in Australia. It's an Aborigine one where like this creature lives in like trees, and there are trees in like oases. So like out in the desert in the outback where there's nothing, and the Aborigines would often go. They'd find like a single tree in the middle of nowhere, and they get shade, right? Well, these creatures would hide in those trees, and when they would sleep or rest, they would like descend and like suck their blood or eat them or whatever. So
koalas?
I always thought that was a cool one.
Koalas.
Yeah, they drop down and they give you chlamydia.
Chlamydia bears or drop bears? Which one do you want?
Oh my god!
I could actually get into doing a sort of a recreation.
Don't they actually give you chlamydia?
Lovecraft
collaboration. Oh yeah, actually, it is about 2/3 of the koala population has chlamydia. Oh no, you can get it other ways, including them biting you and other shit.
Yeah, they got
some stuff going on. Those
could you imagine how messed up it would be? Is like you're out, you're fucking around with koala, you get chlamydia, you don't realize it. You go home and you give it to your old lady, and then she's accusing you of cheating, but you've been out playing with koalas and shit. It's like, I bet you koalas ended a couple of relationships back in
back in the early
before people knew those little bastards.
That's gonna be Hungar's first module in his Cthulhu games, the chlamydia koala mystery.
I don't know. I think the whole exploration of the pyramids, 1920s era could be kind of interesting. Take on the classic mummy movies. The whole Harry Houdini and Lovecraft collaboration was a trap.
I would have to do like James said, and do Appalachia, because I know Appalachia.
Yeah.
Can you
can also do that.
That's why we should do more of a colonial thing if we're going to do that. So we have all these different regions people can choose and play. That way we actually have selection.
Do sort of a globe-trotting adventure where you get to go from place to place, tracking down.
Yeah, but the issue with that is if you're playing Call of Cthulhu, you're going to be making characters a lot because your ass is going to die.
Well, unless you
I think a post World War II would be cool too, because you can all be hunting for that. All the gold in the Pacific would have that. Who's that guy? The Jap general supposedly had a bunch of stuff. Komatsu gold or whatever, and then the Soviet Red Room and all the the missing stuff from the Germany. You could say the cultists are taking that and using that for their new.
That could be fun.
That'd be pretty cool.
Or do like freaking Cold War Cthulhu.
Yeah. Mercurius, that's the same in Canada. As soon as you get out of the big city, like you get like fucking shit coverage.
Yeah.
Cold War Cthulhu, where you're a spy sent over to Russia.
Well, what do you guys think of Pulp Cthulhu as opposed to regular Cthulhu?
Yeah, totally.
No,
it's all right.
No pulp. You don't like pulp?
No pulp. Not for Cthulhu. Pulp is all right if that's what you want to do, but it's not Lovecraftian anymore. Like what you want to like. Well, like I'm the guy that say like don't fucking use Cthulhu in your Cthulhu game because like Cthulhu has been overdone and now people are familiar with it. And the point of Lovecraftian horror is the unknown, the fear. You're supposed to use monster. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
but you don't know what it's about.
Well,
it's hard to find players that'll play into the fear. They're gonna rail against it. Most of the players,
but then you're not playing a Lovecraftian game. Then you want to play
do...
pulp. All right, I guess like maybe you could say like every fucking Cthulhu game is going to be pulp because now like Cthulhu is not.
The only pulp I like is fiction.
You could do like a Jade Falcon game, but the players think it's a Cthulhu artifact, and you don't leave it.
Well, that's why the mechanics of the game force the madness and the unknownness because everybody knows what a night gaunt is and all that shit. You got to make the mechanics to show that they're going to go crazy.
Yeah, but what you got to do is you got to make them think that it's something that's one type of supernatural, but could be
absolutely.
It could be nothing at all, too, right? You leave it up until the last minute.
But what Brian said, it's exactly my argument. As a haunted house.
Yeah.
Like what Brian said, it's actually my argument. Like everybody knows what those monsters are nowadays. So if you want to get like the Lovecraftian feel, you need to go with something else. Like Lovecraft would have hated what became of his mythos, right?
Yeah, every player's already read the book and knows every freaking monster.
The reason why it's so overdone is free. You have this huge just source material of shit for free.
What you need to do,
no one owns the rights, so everybody just took it on and just made their own shit.
You have like fucking like plushies and shit like that. It's fucking
right?
You're supposed to.
Nobody's afraid of it anymore. You got little girls snuggling up, like Max said, with a Cthulhu plushie. How's that going to scare anybody?
You got teenage.
It's just like the geek chic, man. All of us used to be, like outcast. Very unique, underground. All this gaming shit used to be underground.
It was considered weird. The stuff I like that I would make stuffed dragons and paint dragon statues and stuff was weird when I was growing up.
You got teenage climate activists soothing their autism with Cthulhu plushies.
Right.
He's like, oh, the madness feels so good.
Well, I'm thinking of Greta Thunberg.
That's why I'm a big fan of making up your own.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You need to get some sort of creature builder generator, like a random monster thing.
I could do that up here, man. I don't need.
Yeah. Well, if you're creating a supplement, you need to put it in the book.
That's why you like research different regions and their monsters and stuff like that. They're like the Appalachian monsters and the southern monsters and the monsters out west. And stuff like that.
That's why for
each region you can have different types of creatures.
I would love to actually see Tall Man show up in something just because most people don't touch it and don't know it.
Yeah,
it's
more Tall Man is Tall Man, not the slightly different name they've created now, but Tall Man in Lakota is the demon lord of the Badlands, who's supposed to be basically a monster Sasquatch who contorts, manipulates, and kills children.
Most evil deities either kill or consume or some kids. Kids are always the big like target for a lot.
Because those little bastards can't run fast.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons I like
they need to learn.
Little kids don't, you know, these creatures run up on a dude, and the dude's gonna try to punch his lights out before it gets. Hey, little kids are gonna like sit and cower, so they're easy prey.
Those little kids need to learn the magic channel running fast. Run, force, run.
That belligerent, the nation's belligerents are going to actually weaponize this shit. So just think of this. So like if vampires exist, right? Let's say the Nazis are in talks with vampires. Say like, listen, let's stop. You can eat as many, you can drink as many of the prisoners or whatever that you want. Let's make a pact here. So they start to weaponize all these creatures. That's what's
we all know that the Germans made a contract with werewolves.
Yeah.
No,
they were fighting against the vampires.
like America and Canada could have. Yeah, they could use the Native
werewolves
American,
always the best
witch doctors or whatever and
they're
whatever
fucking witch doctors
or whatever.
You're a witch doctor.
Whatever nomenclature that you use, I don't fucking know what they're called. Shamans, sorcerers, whatever the fuck you want to call them, whatever. But the thing is
this show woke up and chose violence today.
What do you want me to call it?
It's called Hungar
Okay. Fine, it's a medicine man. If that's what you need, if that's the title, then that's fine. I'm not trying to degrade anybody. It's just a title of somebody that does mystical shit.
It's not mystical with most tribes. It's based in actual
religious
medicinal
thing. Religious.
No, most tribes it's based in medicinal properties of plants. That's it. It's not religious to most tribes.
Then herbal shit, whatever it is. But in a fictitious, fantastic environment, right? God. It'll be they can use their powers for the nation that they're fighting for. So that again, it's weaponized. Jeez.
Well, according to some Lovecraftian stories,
it's a fucking term to indicate somebody that uses mystical or knowledges that most people don't have. I'm not trying to begrudge any race.
I didn't say you were. I'm saying
it's like you worse than me earlier when you guys were being dumbasses about Hitler.
Anyway,
my God,
this is going to be a hell of a weekend, folks.
Oh.
Everybody take a breath. No spurging.
Man.
Let it all out. Let it all out.
Need to catch up on my. I guess I need
to
look at
mine. Just because I swear a lot doesn't mean I'm actually angry. That's just how I talk.
According to Lovecraft, some tribes in the Southwest paid a little bit of homage to, I think it was Yith, the father of serpents.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially the further south you go.
I think it was
with the tribal cultures, when you get into the really weird, twisted, mystical shit and some of the dark religion, it is mostly the southern tribes.
So Mercurius brings up a good thing.
Cannibalism really bad.
Mercurius brings up a good thing about the communists.
That was in New York.
Yeah, they'd have cannibalism.
Anti-religion, faith, that kind of shit, right? So maybe in your like Weird War II gaming or whatever, the communists are suppressing that shit. They're not going to weaponize it. They're going to destroy it because it doesn't go with their tenets. So you can
have you ever seen the Love and Robots story about that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love Love and Robots. I wish they would put out so much more.
As a matter of fact, that was a good episode.
I would say the communists, they would fucking use zombies. That's what I would say. They would find a way.
Oh fuck yeah!
Reanimate
the dead. Oh yeah.
Reanimate the dead.
All the fascist nations would
might
do
be
that.
dead, but your buddies still belong to the state.
Yeah. Werewolves. We have
the Germans would have werewolves because
can you control them? I mean, if you're going to weaponize something, you got to be able to control it. Or it just turns out on you.
Love and Robots.
No, for smart.
Our werewolves are well educated. Thank you very much.
The communist guy opened the gate, and he thought he could control them, but he couldn't.
Yeah,
not even close.
They just started ripping shit through Siberia, so they had to send those guys to try and put an end to them.
My favorite one was actually Life Hutch, because it was actually taken from I want to say like Creepy or Eerie magazine, or maybe it was Epic magazine from Marvel, and I was watching it, and I'm like, oh my god, I know this one, because I had missed the title. So when I was done with it, I rewound it and found that it was in fact taken from a very, very old, comic magazine from,
we're talking about Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What are you talking about?
I like the Chinese one where the guy turns the girl into the Nine Tails.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. I was talking Life Touch, Brian. Life Touch.
That was good.
The astronaut. He's trying to make his way to a little tiny outpost. I forget what planet he's on.
Oh, and the woman, and it's a giant spider that's like, oh yeah.
No, that's a different one.
Talking about monsters across the globe. All these cultures have a lot of similarities in their creatures. A lot of them are hunger. Hunger is a big thing. And then the consuming of flesh, the cannibalism. A lot of that
spreading the contagion or the infestation or what have you. That's why as much as you guys want to use, other stuff, I'd rather make my own, just so I can constantly keep. There's no way they can do any research, in the real world. I'm going to make some brand new threat and, force them to actually pay attention, as opposed to, in between games, like looking stuff up and go, oh, now I know what we're dealing with. No, you don't. You don't know what you're dealing with, because I'm the only one who knows what you're dealing with. I'm going to write it out.
1 second. Life Hutch is episode 7, season 2 of.
All right, guys, I'm going to go run my pup.
Death and Robots.
He's in the mood to do some running.
Well, the show's about ready to end because I'm getting tired. I don't want to take a nap.
It was a great conversation. Yeah. Thank you guys.
It was a little spicy today.
I swear, with breathing, it's not anger. Just sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just listen. I mean, again, I don't know everybody's title for every fucking thing. So when I misspeak, just say something.
No. As a white man, when you change the name of something, it gets changed. God damn it!
I'm still working on changing everything. I'm still working on changing Cracker Barrel to Caucasian Barrel because that shit's offensive.
So am I.
All right, everybody. Peace, love, and chicken grease. It was a fun show today. Like I said, it was a little spicy. I was sitting over here just staring shit, throwing in little comments, and
it's funny how I was in the middle of all the shit. What the fuck?
Yeah,
you're wrong, bro.
I was right for it today.
Brian, it was just your day in the barrel.
Hey man, it's all good. I can handle it.
I'll get my own day. I'm good at pissing people off. I'm really good at it.
Fun.
I can't wait for E-Riders turn in the barrel. Oh yeah, giggity.
Yeah, because I bite back. I mean.
We're just gonna put the lid on it and seal it and then walk away.
Yeah, plug out the bung hole and roll it into the river.
Shut me in anything. Just me.
All right, everybody. You have a great day. Thanks for coming on the stream. Everybody, like, subscribe, share, and all that bullshit.
Go buy
comment if you want to. I don't give a shit. It's my channel. I laugh at your kid if he falls down. And it was a good fucking Friday.
Take care.
Fuck it.
They're all good.